You must never make these 12 mistakes in the speaking test if you want a high band score. The further we go in this video, the more serious the mistakes get. So stick around until the end of the video where I'll also share some super important tips. Alright, so the first mistake is not paraphrasing. A lot of students just repeat the same words, phrases, or ideas again and again. And the examiner notices right away that you don't really have the language to say things in different ways. Another really common mistake is giving long answers in part 1. Now, I know you've probably been told speak more, speak longer, and that's true in part 3. But in part 1, if you talk too much, you usually go off topic. And honestly, the examiner will just stop you, not because they dislike you, but simply because they have got a lot of questions to ask. They can't sit back and listen to a 5-minute story for each question. So keep your answers developed, but short and to the point. Next, topic-specific vocabulary. This is a big one, especially for part 3, but it matters in every part of the test. Many students think they should memorize advanced words, C1, C2, and even GRE words, stuff that native speakers don't even use. That doesn't help. What actually helps is using words that are relevant to that topic you're talking about. Even simple words, if they're the right ones for that topic, will impress the examiner a lot more than random fancy words. Another issue is memorized answers. Examiners are very good at spotting them. If they realize your answer is memorized, they'll cut you off, change the questions, ask follow-up questions, and give you a lower score. So don't memorize answers. Work on flexibility instead and work on your English. Before we get into part 2 mistakes, just know part 3 mistakes can destroy your score. They're absolutely devastating. Keep watching to find out what they are. Now in part 2, I see 2 big problems. First, students stick too closely and too rigidly to the bullet points. They just go through them one by one and they run out of ideas. Second, their speech doesn't sound natural because they're forcing themselves to cover each bullet point. Here is what you should do instead. Focus on the main topic. Let's say the card says, describe a gift you received. Build a story around that gift, around that topic. While you're telling your story, you can include the bullet points naturally. That way it flows much better. Another problem in part 2 is over-relying on frameworks. Frameworks like the British Council's PPF and many other frameworks. Sometimes it works, but not always. For some topics, it just doesn't make sense to follow a framework. That's why the best thing you can do is to practice telling short stories. Get used to building a story around the topic so that even if you get something unexpected, you just got the skills to keep talking for 2 minutes. Keep watching because at the end, I'll also share some powerful tips you don't want to miss. Now, let's talk about part 3. One mistake is being afraid of giving opinions. Some students worry, what if the examiner disagrees? It doesn't matter. The examiner doesn't care what you think. They're not judging your opinion, they're judging your English. Another problem is that many students don't ask the examiner to repeat the question when they don't understand it. Many candidates think that they will lose marks, but that's not true. What actually hurts your score is answering a question you didn't understand. That makes you go off topic, so if you're not sure, ask. It's fine. Also, a lot of students don't practice different topics before the exam. Then on test day, a new topic comes up and they panic. So make sure you have practiced a wide range of topics for parts 2 and 3. Another big problem in part 3 is short answers. Unlike part 1, here you need to expand. Give your own opinion, explain it, and add examples. Show that you can develop an idea. And please, don't just say, I don't know. If you really don't have an idea, you can say something like, I've never really thought about that, but if I had to give an answer, I'd say, and then give whatever comes to mind. That shows flexibility, and that's what examiners want. The last problem I mentioned is overthinking. Some students get stuck because they're trying too hard to use advanced grammar or big words. and then their fluency completely drops. The solution is to practice your grammar and vocab enough before the test day so that they're automatic. On the day of the exam, don't think about grammar. Just focus on answering the question. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I'll be uploading more videos that will cover all 4 IELTS skills. And finally, a few quick tips. Practice topics you don't like. Don't avoid them just because you're not comfortable with them, because if they come up in the test, you'll be stuck. Focus on topic-specific vocabulary, not just random advanced words or list of words. Don't stress about using fancy grammar. Use grammar that's natural for your level, but use it accurately. And when you get a question, don't try to cover 3 or 4 points. Pick one idea and go deeper. For example, if the examiner asks about your favorite movie, don't list 5 or 6 different movies. Choose one and explain why you like it, how it makes you feel, etc. That's so much more effective. So, which of these mistakes are you guilty of? Comment below and let me know. And if you want more tips to skyrocket your IELTS score, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got a ton of videos that will help you crush the test. Take care and I'll see you in the next one.